That's a good win. We had a good win. Guys played well. It was a good 40 minutes of basketball. I think that's a good basketball team, Tulsa. They're well coached, they're well coached. They got good players. I think Coach Manning does a really good job, and so that's a good win for us. So the second thing, I want to give a shout out to my man, Coach Tony Baroni, who called in to George Lapidus' show on Friday morning, and he was talking about the Grizzlies at the very end. If anyone heard what he said about margin of wins and about appreciate the wins, and so I love Tony Baroni, Coach Baroni, love him. And if anyone had listened to what he said on George's show, he's 100% right. So, anyways, good win. I'm very proud of our players. It's not, again, we still have room for growth, but we got the W, and we got the win, and it was a good 40 minutes of basketball, like I said, against a good, well-coached Tulsa basketball team.
Coach, you did a substitution in the second half, early in the second, where you took out all 5 players and brought the other 5 in. Was that just an energy thing?
Yeah, I didn't feel that we came out in the intensity that I wanted us to come out, so I just put all 5 in, and that group extended the lead. And I just felt that's what needed to be done, and our defensive intensity picked up on that part of that second half when I made that substitution. But it was again, I'm telling you, Tulsa's a good team. They are well coached, and they got good players. Anyone wants to say differently, we played well, okay? And I'm just telling you, there's good teams in Conference USA. This is a good league. I was talking to Terry Holland from the athletic director at East Carolina, who was a head coach at Virginia, won a lot of games, and you know what he said? The gap has closed. There's good teams, bless you, Jason. There's good teams all over the place. There's good teams. So, appreciate that there's good teams out there, and that to win 12 in a row is not an easy feat. To win 15 of 16 is not an easy thing. We have continued to get better. Do we have room for growth? Absolutely we do. And but that's a good win because that's a good basketball team we beat.
You get 50 points today from your bench. What do you think that says about the development of your players that don't start, and what it says about, you can bring in 5 extra guys like you did and not miss a beat?
Well, you talk about development, I think we do a pretty good job of getting guys better for the most part. DJ Steffens, who was a 0-star recruit, in 16 minutes at 15, 13, and 5 blocks. You look at some of the other guys who've come in who've continued to contribute. People thought Antonio Barton was just a throw-in. I mean, how many times has he saved us for games throughout his career? You can see the level that Joe has continued to get better. I mean, Chris now starting to really play at a high level. Tark and Shaq are playing really well. I thought Adonis, hit some big shots offensively. And and Damian, you see his improvement. He continues to give us good minutes and did some good things for us. So Farrakhan and Stan gave us good minutes as well too. We had, when you can have production off the bench, that's an important thing. We had 25 assists on 32 made field goals. That's playing unselfish basketball. We had 12 turnovers, really 11, because the last turnover was on me because I wanted us to take the turnover. So really 11 turnovers, which was an area of improvement. We got to, can't let a team shoot 47% from three-point range, but if you're going to let a team shoot that, you better hold them under 40% from the field, which we did. But again, like I said, Danny does a really good job with their team, well coached, and they got good players. And so that's a good win for the Tigers.
Best performance of the year all around, yes or no?
We're getting better. I still think we have room for growth, and but it was a good win. I thought we put 2 halves together of a good win, and I know, and I was joking with Jeff earlier, but Jeff says it, John Martin says it, everyone says it, every media member says it, every fan. Well, the margin of victory, and I've never seen anything like it. You know what? The other team, and this is what Coach Baroni said, and it's so right. The other team has a good coach and has good players as well too. They're well coached. The other team is good. They're not going to just lay down. this is you've got to be ready to play, and so there are no freebies. There's no gimmies. You have to respect every opponent, and you respect every other coach. You respect every coach, and you respect the other teams. It's important, and so. Bottom line is we've continued to win games. That's the thing. It's not an easy thing to do. It's not a birthright just to show up and win games. You got to earn it, and you got to play. It's not easy just to go out and win.
Coach, you mentioned that this was one of your better games, and you need to improve on your turnovers. What other two areas you can look at in this game that you can improve on to make you even a better team going forward?
Well, we definitely got to continue to take care of the ball. We can't let a team shoot from three-point range that we need to let them shoot from that. But I thought our defensive intensity was really good. And on top of that is we just got to continue to get better. I mean, we haven't hit our ceiling. I don't know if there's anything particular. It's just we haven't hit our ceiling. So we just got to continue to get better.
Josh, you made the joke about the margin of victory and the blowout and all that. Did the team need a blowout to just kind of lesson learned? Now this is how you step on the neck as you move forward.
Well, I don't like to use the word blowout. I like to use the word it was a good margin of victory. I like to say it was a good margin of victory. But what I like more than that, Matt, is we put two halves together. That's the big thing, is two halves together. So I like to use it as a margin of victory. It was a good margin of victory that we won the game by. And we put two halves together. That's the big thing. So, we need any way we can win the game is the best thing. I don't care how we do it, but this was I felt a complete game of two halves, offensively and defensively.
John, with all the good things that happened today, everybody in this room expects Adonis to have a great year this year, to lead the team, one of the best players in the country. He's falling well short. He had no rebounds today, and this is ongoing. So, what are you going to do to get him going? What's the story?
I truly love Adonis, and it's just one of those things where I'm glad he hit some of those threes. That was important. He hit a big shot in that first half there when they made that run, I think the 20-15, and he came down and hit a 17-footer. But he hit 2 threes. Adonis is going to be fine. It's just he's just got to get through it. I know. It's not an easy thing, but let me just tell you this. Last year he played in a limited number of games due to an injury. I mean, you really look at it, this is his first full year. But and this isn't anyone's fault. I'm included in the culture of basketball is included in it that everyone looks at. Well, if you don't leave after you're a freshman or something, then there's got to be an issue. And that's not there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, sometimes guys mature at a different rate, guys get better at a different rate. It's just part of it. So Adonis is going to be fine. He's going to continue to get better. He just needs one of those breakout games, and I expect that it's going to continue to happen. And I know he didn't rebound. I want him to rebound more, but he's working every day. He's staying after it, and it's going to happen for him. He's a very talented young man with a lot of potential and talent.
Understanding that you have to appreciate every win, and it's not easy to win, and the other team doesn't lay down, and they've got good players and a good coach. Do you think margin of victory matters to seeding people and to rank voters and that sort of thing? You haven't made a lot of progress as you stacked win upon win upon win. Do you think it helps at all if you're demolishing people as opposed to getting 1-point wins?
You know what, Jeff? The best thing that we can do is win as many games as we can do. Win as many games as we can, and it's not. I'm just telling you. I mean, the other teams we play are good, and on that, Jeff, is we can't control the voters or anything else on that. I think there's a big misconception on people thinking that they know what's going on in the selection committee and the seeding. I just think that's, they're not as, from really studying it and talking to people that's on it, it's not what everyone thinks it is. Look, because I really have studied it, especially after last year, and I've talked to everybody, basically. I went in and sat here and said, if we're not a 5 seed, there's an issue. There's no way we're not a 5 seed. No way in heck. And Michigan State thing came up, and I says, well, we're not in this region when the Michigan State and the 16th seed, and then I says, we're not in the 8-9 game. Boom. And, we were beating people by large margins last year. And what was told to me that if we played Southern Miss in the championship, in the championship and beat them, we'd have moved up one spot to the 7th seed. So point being is all you can do is try, whether it's 1 point or any other point, you just got to try to win the game and just try to get as many wins as you can. And that's why I'm constantly fighting for Conference USA, because I just think it does not get the respect it deserves from media members and fans, not only locally but nationally. I believe in this league, and the league is good, and everyone's good now these days. And you ask anyone in the game that's coached, they'll tell you the gap has closed. There are no gimmies. There are no gimmies.
Coach, with Joe Jackson struggling today, how confident for you is it knowing that you can have guys like Antonio and Chris come off the bench and produce pretty well?
Well, I mean, Joe did have 5 assists. I mean, he shot over 50% from the field, 50% from the 3. He had 2 boards. It was just one of those games. I mean, Joe has carried us in a lot of games. It was just it was one of those games where it was just everybody came in and did their job, and that's what teammates do. That's what good teams do, when guys need to, other guys step up. So just one of those things. I mean, Joe carried us along with some other guys on Wednesday night. So Joe's been at a very, very high level for the entire year.
Josh, after the last home game, I asked you if you're a top 25 team. You've now put together 12 straight wins. You're 18-3. The voters, you got 6 the week prior. You dropped to 4 with the coaches. The coaches gave you 0.
Yeah.
The writers gave you less. And in the bracketology, you even dropped,
Yep.
despite you continue to win. Now, how do you feel on national TV, blowing out a team, as piggybacking on what Jeff said, that maybe the respect coming a little bit more now?
Well, let me ask you this: you have Jerry Palm on your
Right.
show, and he doesn't give us, he
had you as a play-in.
Yeah, as a play-in, and he said there's our ceiling 0. That's what I'm trying to say. I like Jerry Palm. Jerry Palm's a friend. Lenardi, all those guys. I like all those guys, but they're not in the room. I mean, they're not in the room. So, and if you've noticed, they're starting to use things now called the basketball production. I don't know, BPI or something, off of ESPN. I think there's something off of they're starting to use that. I mean, they actually talked about that they're using that now. That's other things they're using it. So it's not just they have everything of all this data. So what we can only do is to win, whether we're in the rankings or not. And if somebody asks me, do you want to be in the rankings? Sure, I want to be in the rankings. Who doesn't? It's more time on the ticker. You know what I mean? I mean, you'd rather be on the ticker than not. But the bottom line is the thing that we can control is just try to win as many as we can. And that way, and this gives you for another at least 48 hours good radio about whether it's this or not. Because I went back on the post game and said DJ's one of the top 5 Tigers. Here's my 4. And everyone, the 5th's up for debate. In no particular order: Keith Lee, Larry Finch, Penny Hardaway, DJ Steffens. The 5th's up for debate. But that's my 4. I don't know who the 5th is, but those are 4. Not maybe on talent. Larry, not on talent. Not on talent. I'm just saying on appreciation, everything else. I got to get back to talk to the Tigers. The last 48 hours, the talk was all Grizzlies on the trade, so we got to get talking back to the Tigers.